Welcome everyone to the Side Draft Podcast, and welcome to the Daytona 500 race review. Finally here, finally over, and man, it was a wild one.
Yeah, it was a lot of action going on, and it wasn't the train, but it did have a train wreck. But
a few of those. Sprinkle
so,
little train wrecks in there, and
it wasn't what we expected. But
yeah, I was expecting single file racing, which we've seen that in the past few years, and that never really happened.
Not really
until like the last lap. So
yeah, and a lot of cars got spread out, and just not normal for Daytona.
Yeah, well, not normal for the recent years, but yeah, we are here. We are here to review the 2019 Daytona 500. Take you through almost lap by lap. A lot of notes here to really talk about because a lot happened. But before we get into it, we want to give a shout out to our sponsor Spotlight.
And today we're going Spotlight is going to be for Kroger grocery stores.
And why is that?
Well, they sponsor Ryan Preece, which he's a rookie this year, and he had a really good run today. And I actually thought he might have a chance to win, so we just chose Kroger for that, and just go to Kroger for all your tailgate needs and get you a hamburger or something.
Get a hot dog. Go to Martinsville. Well, Martinsville might ban your hot dog.
But you still eat it out the truck.
Yeah. Eat one before you go in, and then eat one when you go in. You know. Yeah. So, but yeah, Ryan Preece did have that amazing save, or not save it. He narrowly missed that wreck. So
yeah, he had the save of the day. Just I don't know how he managed to get through that wreck. I mean, his cars on the left and right. He just shot the hole right in time, and I was like, wow, that's awesome.
Years and years of modified practice, yeah. I guess. But yeah, let's get into the Great American Race. So pre-race notes: William Byron would win the pole. Alex Bowman would be the outside pole. Hendrick Motorsports showing their dominance at qualifying 5 straight years in a row. I think that they've won the pole.
Yeah, and the very first time they broke a record for the youngest front row.
I believe it was like 21, so
yeah.
Really awesome for them. Another Chevy, not good news though. Kyle Larson would have some issues with his transmission. The crew members saw a lot of leakage, so they had to change the transmission, so they would have to start in the back.
Yeah, it's a good thing they caught that early and got it all changed before the race. So
yeah, instead of
end of the day early.
Instead of 2 minutes before the race, oops, gotta go to the garage. But on the initial start, it would be William Byron versus Alex Bowman, and Byron would lead a few laps there.
Yeah, he was showing some strengths at first and leading the field and looked kind of like a veteran.
But Stenhouse also showing a lot of skill out there. He would lead the inside lane and get up there to lead lap 3. And then the Benedetto, first race in Levine Family Racing, he would battle Stenhouse around lap 7, and he would take the lead.
Yeah, so it's really good for him. It might be a different view from him from the past, so just good to see him leading the race.
And then Stenhouse would take the lead right back, but then the Fords would pit. The Benedetto would resume the lead right after that. Kurt Busch would take the lead on lap 18, but he would just head straight to the pits. Didn't really lead that lap, but we see some strategy going on.
Yeah, it's unusual that like after 16 laps they start pitting and trying to do some pit strategies.
Yeah, I think stage racing has really showed that or caused that to happen in recent years.
Yeah, because everybody knows when the caution is going to come out, so they're going to try to just get their pit window and just get to the end of the stage.
So the Benedetto would take the lead again until Corey LaJoie would have damage to his face.
Yes, because he slid in his pits and flat spotted his tire, and they didn't change that tire, which they should have, but he wouldn't have messed his face up.
Got to use some acne medication for that or something.
Yeah, it needs a little more than nose spice.
Yeah, it is pretty bad when there's a tire right here on your face. Don't you just hate when that happens?
Yeah.
And then for those who did not pit, they would come down pit road that time, or didn't pit in the previous caution or previous green laps cycle or something. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, green flag pit stops.
Yeah, the green flag caution pit stop. Then it would be a restart with Ford teammates Stenhouse and Harvick. During the pit stops, LaJoy, Hemrick, Ty Dillon, Michael McDowell would have speeding penalties. The cops have got you.
Yep.
Stenhouse would lead the bottom, as it seemed like the top line at that time seemed to struggle a little bit.
It seemed like the bottom got more organized and they can just take off.
And then it looked like the top was starting to come back, but then the bottom would show dominance. Then Kyle Busch would come back on the bottom, and he would challenge Stenhouse for the lead, and he would take the lead eventually. Then we had some green flag racing until Stenhouse and Kurt Busch got a little issue there. Didn't look like Stenhouse touched Kurt. Looked like the arrow just turned Kurt around, and he would crash into Bubba Wallace and Jamie McMurray.
Yeah, I know I picked Bubba, and I'm very sorry for that. But I believe he got hit from behind. He was trying to hit his brakes and slow up, and somebody just pushed him into Kurt and kind of messed up his whole day.
And Austin Dillon also did a 360 during that time, so not good for the past champion of the Daytona 500, but still running. And then it'd be Kyle Busch versus Hamlin, which we saw that a lot today.
Mm-hmm.
And then Kyle Busch would lead with 3 to go, and no one could really get a run on Kyle, and he would win stage number 1, which playoff points are very, very needed, and you never know when you're going to need them throughout the playoffs.
It's always good to have those in the bank.
Stage 2 would start. Kurt Busch would be the free pass. Reagan would lead him off pit road. Chase Elliott would have to make a second stop because they didn't get all the lug nuts on right, because they was trying to catch a crew member on Eric Johnson's team with a lasso. So, which I'm pretty sure that wasn't intended to do.
No, it was just down there playing some tug of war and couldn't get the lug nuts on.
It's my pit gun. No, it's mine.
Let go of my hose.
But yeah, they would eventually free the poor pit crew guy on Eric Johnson's crew, and they would get chased down pit road and get all the lug nuts on.
Mm-hmm.
And it'd be Logano versus Suarez on the restart. Suarez would lead, but Logano, with his experience being the past champion, he would take the lead. And then they would just head down pit road on lap 14 of the stage.
Yeah, this is once again strategies going into play, and you lead the race, and then everybody just goes down the pit road.
Paul Menard and David Reagan have a penalty for speeding, and under caution that would be okay, but not during green flag.
During green flag, yeah.
De Benedetto would lead, and he would lead the most laps in this race. And Hamlin would have to pit on lap 75 all by himself. So, not very good for him at the moment, but thankfully for him, he did not go a lap down. Well, he did momentarily, but...
He did momentarily, so...
Kurt Busch did not serve a penalty, and he would be black flagged. Not doing good for Kurt Busch right now.
No. I know his car's black, but the black flag on me is not...
It's not a Monster Energy flag.
Yeah. Hey, they're waving my flag up there.
So Hamlin is told to save fuel because they seem to have some fueling issues. And the next caution that happened shortly after with Casey Mears and Parker Kligerman, maybe that was luck for him.
Yes, sometimes it's good to just be lucky.
Yeah, and with that caution, I'm not too sure what happened. It was like right in front of the secondary lead pack, I would say, and the lead pack, because they was lapping.
They was lapping cars.
So they was lapping the Fords.
Yeah.
So it was really crazy, and I think that was just because they was side by side, and the Toyotas were more uniform and
there's
in a straight line.
Just they can go faster than two wide racing.
So the leaders would pit after that caution. Kyle Busch would still show some dominance from 2018 on pit road. He would lead them off. But penalty for Alex Bowman, too many members over the wall.
We've seen a lot this weekend.
Maybe some teams will fix that and go to Atlanta next week, and maybe we won't have so many.
Maybe these crews are miscounting the crew member.
Yeah, one crew member, 2, 3. They count crew members in their sleep now. So, but Ryan Blaney and Keselowski would not pit, and they would lead off on the restart. Ryan Blaney would win stage 2, just like he did last year.
Yeah.
And stage 3, the one that was like the perfect storm, I guess, or unperfect for some of those. But pit road, De Benedetto would lead off pit road. I just said that like Dale Jr., didn't I?
Yep.
Byron would stay out. The penalty for Ryan Newman, uncontrolled tire, uncontrolled hot dog. Then we'd have a restart. William Byron versus Eric Almirola. He's trying to get some redemption in this race.
Trying to.
From last year when he basically got dumped on the last lap.
Yeah.
William Byron, though, would take the lead, and he would lead quite a few laps after that, looking like a veteran out there.
Yes, I know he's been on iRacing and simulators a lot, so it's like it might have helped him. And plus, he's got Chad Knaus on the pit box now, and he's showing some good promises out there.
Yeah, I use iRacing, but I don't have Chad Knaus, so
yeah,
I can relate to him on one side of that. But so Chad, if you want to be my iRacing crew chief,
come on.
But Jimmy Johnson, he'd be up there battling with his teammate for the lead, and pit stops was starting to happen with Austin Dillon, and the RCR gang would come down pit road, but he would just show his teammate a little love there coming down pit road.
Yeah, it's like also they just jetted down the pit road, and I believe Brandon Gaughan thought he was speeding a little bit, so he kind of slowed up a little too much, and Austin Dillon kind of ran in the back of him.
Then we'd have a caution on pit road.
Pit road.
So I guess everyone just had like this. They didn't know who was pitting. I think Stenhouse didn't really give a warning to Byron.
Yeah.
Which I guess Byron is thankful that he didn't. And then we had Rick Ware Racing in the back, and they just came in too hot.
I don't know what happened. It just, I don't know if they just lost it or what.
To quote Martin Truex, I believe it was at Richmond last year, "Yippee, here we go." And then Tyler Reddick would spin, and he would take a piece of Jimmy's car, which it's always great to get sheet metal of your favorite driver after the race. That's not the way to do it.
Yeah. I believe Tyler Reddick and Jimmy Johnson's like, what the world happened here?
Yeah.
So it just kind of hit them by surprise, and Tyler Reddick got hit, spun around. Man, he's just like, wow.
And had some damage to Stenhouse, not too much though. Who's still able to run. Jimmy Johnson though took off the whole side panel there, or the quarter panel, I should say.
Yeah, it's like how are we gonna fuel this thing now? That's all left is the fuel neck.
So they taped it up, and they was good to go. It wasn't really in contention after that because you kind of need that part of the car for your aerodynamics, but they still managed to get a good finish because everyone wrecked.
Yeah.
Eventually.
A lot of times Daytona is just survival.
So Kyle Busch will lead him off pit road again.
But Jimmy would get a penalty for illegal fueling, didn't he?
Yeah. And I guess it would be illegal to fuel like that, but they eventually.
Only the fuel guy can fuel the car.
Yeah.
You can't hold the neck.
We'd have a penalty for Martin Truex Jr. and Newman for speeding, and it's stage 3. You cannot do that at this point.
Not really.
And we'll see in the future, or in a few more minutes, why exactly that hurt them. McDowell would stay out, and McMurray would stay out as well. McMurray, he was damaged, injured car. I don't think that was a great idea.
No, I believe if I was him, I'd have stayed in the back of the pack. With the way they had it taped up, I mean, the aerodynamics is just really bad.
And McDowell would fall back. due to the scoring loop, and Stenhouse would have to fall back too because they was on pit road while that crazy wacky crash would happen. And then it would be McMurray versus Hamlin. Hamlin would easily win that.
Yeah, I think it messed Amarola and Chase up because it was like lined up 3 wide.
Yeah, and no penalty for Chase or Almirola, because it looked like they were trying to get into position, but Noah Gragson said on Twitter, he was very upset about that because he got...
he was in the same situation.
And he was penalized.
He was trying to get to his position, but he couldn't. And they penalized him, but they didn't do anything to Chase or Amarola for that.
So the 9 car just doesn't have luck.
So Noah just keep pleading the case there.
Yeah. Then Bowman would try for the lead, but he would fail to get the lead and he'd fall back. And then it would have a caution for debris. Probably the sanest caution that we've had.
Yeah.
Then it would be Logano, Priest, and Elliott. They would all pit. Then it would be Hamlin versus Kyle Busch again.
Here we go.
And then Eric Jones would have an issue and fall back to the back. And we had a train for a little bit.
Yeah, I believe he didn't have any fuel pressure.
Yeah.
I ain't sure what was going on with his car at that moment.
When Eric Jones had to fall back because he didn't have any fuel pressure, it kind of messed up the bottom lane, and we had the high line going there for a while.
Yeah, started trains. Oh no, here we go.
Yippee, here we go. And then Kyle Larson would go around due to a blown tire and cause a caution.
And how many fans out there said, yes, we got a caution to knock his train out?
Then it'd be Hamlin versus Busch again, and Keselowski would blow a tire and caution.
Man.
Hamlin,
caution, breed caution.
Then it'd be Hamlin versus Kyle Busch again. And then we would have a huge crash, including Paul Menard, Eric Almirola, Chris Buescher, Daniel Hemrick, Truex, Dillon, Blaney, Newman, Byron, Suarez, Reagan, Tift. Probably many more, but...
Probably about half the field there. I believe Menard was getting a little too anxious at that point. Then, was it Matt Benedetto? I believe I don't know if Menard's going to try to go in the high lane and pass him or what. I mean, it just bumped into his right bumper and just spun him around.
Yeah, it spun the Benedetto around. Harvick barely missed it, just by probably this much. But Joe Logano got a little bit of it from Stenhouse, and everyone beyond that is pretty much gone.
Yeah, I know Amarola, he was like, I want to know it's Kansas all over again.
Yeah, because, Eric Almirola was almost airborne, and David Reagan was trying to see the springs underneath the
Yeah, he's just
car.
trying to see what kind of springs that Storehouse was running.
Yeah. So, if front row starts doing really well, that's the moment.
Yeah, because Amarola, he was in the back of Blaney, up on top of Reagan, and it was chaos.
Eric Almirola got a good look of Blaney, though, so and maybe see what Team Penske's doing. So,
Man, I was just so hoping that Blaney would have jumped up in the high lane, might have missed it, but just kind of ruined his day.
Logano has got to hate that too, because that was his drafting buddy throughout the duels.
That was one helping him get to the front. So.
Then it'd be a caution again after the next restart. This time it would be with Stenhouse and Larson. Stenhouse would try to cut through the middle between him and Harvick. And
I'm not sure where he was trying to go.
Yeah, I just don't see that working out. Even if no one wrecked, I don't see the benefit of trying that. And spun Larson around, spun Harvick around, got into Elliott a little bit, Ty Dillon and Keselowski, and they was bullying Keselowski out there for a while.
Just got to knock him around. I believe Harvick was like a half a car back. That might have worked. But, I mean, you can't just make a hole for yourself and just... I mean, because he was trying to shoot the hole and Kyle was coming down. I mean, he just had nowhere to go.
Maybe he'll learn that lesson, because we're going to be doing a lot of this type of racing compared to what we've seen at the practice at Las Vegas and also the All-Star race last year. So, gotta work on when you should make those moves.
Yeah.
And then after the next restart, caution.
Caution again.
This time it would be because Boyer, trying to get around McDowell, thought he was clear, wasn't. Turned Boyer and got into Elliott, McMurray, Castle, and Gone. And also Keselowski.
Keselowski, yeah.
So
He's like the Energizer Bunny today, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So
He was still kicking, so.
yeah.
Still managed to get, the 9th place finish somewhere in there?
Yeah,
Or 12th, somewhere in there.
A lot of these wrecks are coming from up front. I mean, everybody's getting anxious. And it's a good run for Boyer going under McDowell, but he wasn't quite clear yet. I mean, if he's had about 6 more inches, he might have made it. But he was going for checkers or wreckers, and he ended up being a wrecker.
So we'd have one final restart in overtime. Really, I just think we didn't have enough cars still alive. We still only had 5 good cars. 4.5 because Logano was kind of damaged. And then, the cars that was up there just really didn't have enough to really do anything to Hamlin. Logano tried.
Yeah, that's when Ryan Preece was up there in the 5th, and that's when they said the whole crowd was hollering, Ryan. Yeah, everybody's. I mean, it's just, I believe he's a good driver. He's going to be good in the Cup Series, and man, I was just so hoping he'd be closer to the win.
Yeah, and Hamlin would basically cruise to a win, and he still had to fight for it a little bit, but he did have the help of Kyle Busch. I believe Kyle Busch really wanted Hamlin to get the win if he couldn't. So it is a little disappointing that we didn't get to see a side-by-side finish, but we had a great race overall, and
it'd been good to get a little more pushes and more runs at the end. I believe Ryan Preece give Joey a good push, and if he just need one more, I mean, Joey might have been closer to Denny for a win, but it's still a good race.
Yeah, it's still good, really good race. I think it would have been really awesome if it would have been a non-teammate beside Hamlin on the final restart, because we did see a little bit of team orders there with allowing Hamlin to get in front of him, and that kind of, it is a smart strategy, but in terms of side-by-side Daytona-esque finishes, it kind of fell flat after that.
Yeah, the way teammates go, sometimes you kind of drag the brake and let the other one in. So,
which is a Kyle Busch that I haven't really seen.
Yeah.
Normally, a Kyle Busch would say, who's my teammate? I'm going for the win. But it was a cool race overall, and it was nice to see Joe Gibbs.
Yeah, there wasn't very many.
There wasn't
many good cars out there. I mean, they're all beat up, so they really couldn't push a whole lot. So.
Yeah, but it was a heartwarming moment to see Joe Gibbs, and after the passing of JD, they all needed a moment to just celebrate after all of their hardships.
Yeah, sometimes it I don't know, it needs some kind of closure or something like that. It seems like it always comes at Daytona a lot of times. It did it with Dale Jr.
Yeah, back in 2004, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and last year we had Austin Dillon, who won, I believe, 20 years after Dale Earnhardt won the Daytona 500. So, a lot of cool stories come after the Daytona 500.
Yeah.
It also would have been cool if Paul Menard would have somehow made it up there and won for the Wood brothers.
Yeah. I believe he was trying. He was trying a little too hard.
Yeah.
Maybe if he had backed off from Matt DiBenedetto, or kind of hit him a little better, more square, it could have made a different outcome.
But yeah, it was an awesome Daytona 500 for 2019. Can't wait to see 2020.
Yeah.
Seriously, got glasses. I can't wait to see 2020.
Oh.
But yeah.
How long's that joke going to go?
All year. I am sorry for all of you. Unsubscribe. No, please don't. But yeah, great race reviews this week. Can't wait to see Atlanta, see what changes is going to happen to the racing.
It's gonna be interesting, the new package and how it's going to unfold.
New strategy. Before we get more into that, we do want to give a shout out to the person who found Dale Jr. in the thumbnail last time. It was Holisa on Twitter. So thank you for playing our mini game.
Yeah, and keep on looking for Dale.
And Dale, this is not weird. But if you didn't find Dale, this is where he was last time.
Hey everybody, it's
And
Dale
if
Jr.
you can find Dale in the thumbnail for this video, we'll give a shout out to you in the Truck Series race review next week. And yeah, so Atlanta's going to be really interesting. We're going to figure out what strategies these teams are going to play. I think now we're going to get to where we're going to see a lot of weird things. You know, because teams haven't really figured it out yet. They may have some sort of grasp of what's going on since the Las Vegas practice session, but it's going to be wild. We may even have a wreck fest like we did at Daytona. So
Maybe. And if all those out there is playing the fantasy live game on NASCAR, mine just kind of just went out the window.
what you learned is when we do the side draft fast picks, don't listen to us. Well, you know, my picks, they all finished at least. I mean, that's something, right? So,
Yours finished fourth.
Yeah, pretty much. Besides, I think Chase Briscoe finished 12th
Yep.
in the Xfinity. So,
And all mine wrecked out. So.
don't listen to him. Kind of listen to me.
I need some tips, y'all. Y'all need to give me some tips on who to pick. And
So, last year we would make our picks at the end of these race reviews, but now this year what we're going to do is the side draft fast picks. So stay tuned on Friday where we're going to be making our picks for Atlanta, and I'm going to have to really think because it's going to be something different. You know, normally we would pick people like Harvick or Jimmy because they're so great at Atlanta, but I'm not sure if that's how it's going to be this time.
And I'm afraid to pick anybody because they're just going to wreck. So.
I picked the tow truck. But yeah, that was the race review for the Daytona 500. And a really great race, and we hope to see you at Atlanta.